it's Cindy. Welcome to Studio Lou and welcome to March. So I think what I'm going to do is make March all about mass making, like mass making March. We're going to make a bunch of stuff. Basically, like each video I'm going to do, we're just going to make the same thing and we're going to make a bunch of them. I won't commit to every day because life, 2 toddlers, but I will try to do as many days of March as I can. I also would like to get caught back up on the Tinker Lab challenge. So today is square, but I don't want to do square today. I want to do, we'll see if there's ways we can work in square. But what I want to do is make these envelope things. So I have an entire box of these envelopes and I really want to use them up, and I have way too many scraps. So today's solution is all about making something cool with these. So I know there is like Roxy is doing like Roxy's weekly challenge, and a couple weeks ago I saw a lot of people who are doing that were making things from window envelopes. So I know like they were making kind of like window envelope pockets, but what I want to do is actually just slightly different than that. Same kind of deal, but a little bit different. So I want to use 2 envelopes and I want to make like, I want to hinge them together like this. And collage that, and obviously collage the inside so that this is hidden, this McBee or whatever this is from. And then when they're hinged together, they'll basically be able to go into a signature, and so you'll have like a little kind of thing to go in your signature. And I think they kind of look like little doors. And so yeah, that's what I want to do. So I'm just going to jump in. I'm going to start with the inside first. And I'm just going to get like ripping and tearing and collaging because, yeah, that's how we're going to use our scraps. Because I've just got way too many again. Still. So, yeah. So today was a busy day. I obviously did work because that's part of my life is work. But I'm also working on a project in the background, and I am getting started doing my collecting of things to start the next journal that I'm going to be working on this channel. I have also got some other things planned for probably this week. I'm going to be doing like a review video of something interesting, and yeah, all sorts of fun stuff. Where is my glue book? Which I was also using as my pokey book that I was poking my my awl into when I was binding my last journal. So I hope you had a nice weekend. I definitely did. We got to go for a really nice walk yesterday in the local, well, not local, but like a town or so over. Another graveyard that we go to that is a little bit more maintained than the one that's the closest to us. And it was really beautiful. And the nice thing actually about this graveyard is that it is maintained by this really amazing like group of people. So like there's the regular like, you know, kind of groundskeeper people, but there's like a little placard that talks about how there's like an arborist society that like works in that graveyard because they you know what I should do? I should hinge these first because otherwise I'll forget what direction to put things. But yeah, anyways, they are like really cool because they put all the labels on the trees so that you know what kind of trees you're looking at. And I really like that because it's nice to be able to identify more different trees. Like I learned all sorts of different trees, and I've also learned about some trees that I would like to have in my own yard, you know, like in the future when I move to a different property. So do I have, yeah, so this one I would want to go up, and this one would have to go down to be hinged like that. So I'm actually going to just work on the hinge now so that I don't goober that up. I also could have been a little bit neater in my way of tearing these babies, but that's okay. Yeah, I think this will be a lot easier once I get these together. So I'm actually just going to use another one of these. I would normally use so much of the same kind of paper on one, but we're going to cover it up with collage anyways. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, a nice day for a walk yesterday. It was like raining, but we had our umbrellas and we had a blast. It was fun. Trying to like teach my children to embrace all weather and at the same time remind myself that if that's what I want them to do, then I have to do the same thing. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Okay. I feel like I'm going to want maybe take this edge off of this coffee dyed map book page. And I will just use a piece of it on the back to do more of the hinge. So I also got started on my stitch wheel project from Kathy Reevy's YouTube channel. I mentioned her yesterday in my, was it yesterday? I mentioned her in my weekly wrap-up, my last weekly wrap-up video from the weekend, that I'm going to be doing her stitch wheel challenge. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be fun. I got 3 of the little sections done today. I'm telling you, getting the wheel stitched on to the cloth though, that was like a lot of work. Well, not a lot of work, but it was just hard because when I was trying to do it, my kids were like bugging me. Not bugging me, but like, Mom, you know, like they were like climbing on me and stuff. So it might have a little bit of a wonk to it, and I'm okay with that. You can't sweat the small stuff, right? So yeah, there we go. I think that's a little more organized here. We need something else. We're getting too much of the same. Okay. I was also watching like a really lovely, the latest video from Art and Carlos, and you know, they are knitwear designers, and I mean just designers in general. I'll admit I don't know the entire body of their work. I learned about them years ago with their Christmas Balls knitting book, and then I was reintroduced to them recently when I started following the Last Homely House YouTube channel. And so anyways, I was watching that, and it was so cool to see because like they've spent, I think, at least 30 years doing design, and they have all of their notebooks, all their design books, like their sketches and everything that they've worked on, like their body of work, and it was just amazing. Oh, this was like inside a book, I think, that I found. Thumbs. I think I'll use the flower maybe. That's kind of cool. I can hear thumping upstairs. I don't know what's going on. I know my husband is making some dinner. It might be that, or it might be my children doing something. I don't really want to know, to be honest. I'm happily going to just stay right here in my little space for a bit until I have to go back. No, but the kids were lovely today. Actually, they went on a little trip with their dad because he shipped my Etsy shop orders today, my packages. So if you ordered something from the shop, it's on its way to you. Yeah, so they did that today. Well, I've just been like working on this thing at work, and it's hard to explain, but I think I kind of alluded to it in one of my videos from last week about how I was sort of saving somebody from their own like procrastinating. So that is still kind of ongoing. It's you know, it's the rule of if something is like last minute and stressful, that it's probably going to be you know, messed up and stressful. And that's kind of what I'm experiencing with this whole thing. But I'm trying not to let it get to me too much. I'm trying to just be like, okay, we're going to get through this. But I don't know. Sometimes I just think people make things so unnecessarily hard. And they don't need to. It's tough. I feel like this is a very brown one, but that's okay. Also, I need to get back to the inside of this. Did I just close the bottom up? Well, that's okay, because you're not going to see that. When this is all closed up, you're not going to see the inside, really. Although, I do think I just want to collage the whole thing, so I'm going to just use my... No, I won't use my ruler. It's just not going to work that well. I use my scissors here, just to cut this back open. I didn't mean to seal it closed. I just wanted to hinge them together. There we go. But yeah, it's just been a bit of a week. I'll put it that way. A bit of a couple weeks. Okay. I should put something interesting here that you could see through the window. I think the window is going to be, yeah, the window will be there. So let's put something nice there for to see in the window. That was a book cover. Maybe this would be, let's see. Yeah, that would be good. I'll snip off the part here. Now, I definitely apologize if you could just hear nothing but stomping. I live in the loud family. I was saying to my husband the other day, like, you know, I think a lot of my YouTube videos, you can just hear you guys stomping around like, you know, rhinos upstairs. I know there's nothing you can do about it, but hopefully people get it. I've got little kids, and so you're probably going to hear them. Just be warned if you have an aversion to background noise. Like, I was trying to get my stitch wheel all like drawn out on, like the wheel itself drawn out on my stitch wheel. And I don't know, my daughter was having one of those kind of cranky sort of moods that newly 4-year-olds get into sometimes. And so she was very, oops, let me just snooze this. She was very kind of cranky, like just sleepy and not having her best moment. And so all I could hear was just her kind of like shouting about nothing and being upset about something, and then like, oh, all these different things going on. And then, yeah, it definitely made things a little bit difficult to like work on something complicated. And I ended up just going like, I can't do this. And it was too crooked and weird looking, so I had to like completely start all over again. And I think it's still a little bit wonky, like in this one area, but it's not that bad. So I'm always looking at like people doing collage with their scraps, and I always think like, how are your scraps so amazing? And I think what it is, a lot of the time it's people who use a lot of digitals. They end up having like a lot of digital scraps. And I don't use a ton of digitals. I use some. I like to mix up like vintage materials and digitals. Just gotta lay this flat. This has to stay flat. So you see, we'll see that hummingbird in there. Hummingbird. This So that will be nice. And then I'm going to put this down here. But yeah, I like digitals. I don't use a ton of them. I kind of blend them with my vintage materials, but I'm actually getting more and more into them. And I've recently found, between the working with Release the Craftins Digitals, who, I mean, is amazing. I love her design style. I think she's very different and cool. And I also work with like my porch prints. I have a lot of her stuff, and I have recently found like, oh, what's the name? Paper Cameo. And her stuff's really nice too. And she's actually a very nice and wonderful person that I was able to have a little conversation with last week, which was nice. And yeah, I have a few more too, like that I kind of... Farmerage has a lot of nice basic like stuff for like fussy cutting out, and lots of like artist trading card type things that you can use for different things. But yeah, some people have awesome amounts of scraps. Me, I have random scraps. Yeah, that'll go good there. I just have to print out some more collage pages. I have like all sorts of stuff I can use. I just have to print it all out. But I'm trying to like force myself to go through the scraps that I have, because it gets really at hand, like not in a good way. It's just crazy. So then I have this big picture of a snake that I don't think I'll use for anything except for a white background. Let's get him out of the way. I don't think I need that. Even if I can just like go through scraps as I'm sorting through this stuff, that would be good. Because I probably just end up keeping way too much stuff. That's what it is. It's like you don't want to throw out one little precious thing or something. I don't know. There's some nice birdies. Put them on. Now I still need to do this inside here too. So maybe I'll put these nice birdies here. Just take a look at where, yeah, that would probably be good right there. We don't want the ferret because he looks mean. Or I guess he's not a ferret, he's like a weasel or something. I've also been watching recently a lot of, there's like a PBS show called Animal Logic, and they have their own YouTube channel and Patreon channel, and I've been watching the YouTube channel. It's just a really good show about like all different sorts of animals, and it's really like fun, and the format is really good. And also she's kind of like a mythbuster too. Like she really is very good at like teaching you things that maybe you thought something was one way, but it's not. It's actually another. Where could I use this big flower? I think it's too big for this. Need little terry things. There we go. That's just a couple of paws. Yeah, some of this stuff I'm like, why did I keep this? What's wrong with me? I kind of like how that looks, but I don't know where to use it. Maybe there. That could be kind of cool. I'm going to tear it out more and get rid of the words, the majority of the words. I know I'm like not going to get done as much as like I'm hoping to in this quote-unquote mass making that I'm trying to do here, but that's okay. At least we're getting something done, right? And I'm so excited for the silliest reason. This Thursday is recycling day, and I don't know if you heard me talking about this like from another video, but because I was out of town for a couple of days for a work thing. We were away last, like the Thursday before this past Thursday, which was recycle day. And so our recycling only goes every other week. Like it's like garbage recycling back and forth. And so, yeah, I have like a month's worth of recycling. And when you're a paper artist or anyone doing anything like with a recyclable material that you, yeah, it's too much stuff. So yeah, I don't know how many people other than me would be excited for recycling day, but I am. Some nice green grassy kind of material here. I also broke down and bought myself a new sewing machine for paper only. So I have a paper sewing machine that used to belong to my parents, and it is like in serious need of a servicing, and I'm not even sure if a servicing is going to fix it, but we'll see. I have like a bunch of old sewing machines that I need to get serviced, and it's on my kind of to-do list, which is at this point turning into like a bucket list because I may never get it done. But yeah, I need to get them serviced. I have a couple of cool old like sewing machines. One is a beautiful teal color, and that's the whole reason I bought it, and it's just a beautiful machine. So that needs to be serviced. Like every one of them has something weird going on. Like one, it can't backstitch. The one that I use for paper is like the dials where you would change the stitch settings. They are like really jammed up because this thing is really dusty and packed away for many years. And even though I cleaned it, like there's parts inside that I can't get to clean that needs a professional's touch. So yeah, that has been replaced with with a new machine that I got, that I have to get hooked up. It just arrived today actually. So hey, maybe we could do this square. This could be our Tinker Lab square, and we could make it a part of this collage. Let's open this part up. So maybe I'll just put it right there and make it very central. So yeah, I've got to get it all hooked up. I'm really excited about it though, because it has like 165 stitches. And like I said, I've been stuck with just this one setting of stitches. Like it's kind of like a very gentle zigzag stitch that I've been really stuck to using. I have like a sewing machine for fabric, like for garments and clothing and stuff, but there's no way I will use it for paper. I'm like, not gonna happen. It's my baby, my Bernina. So I can't do that. This is where it gets a little tricky. It's like you have to find all these little bitty things. I hear my son, he's getting a little, I think he's getting dinner impatient, so I'm sure my husband's giving him a bunch of snacks. My kids love baby carrots. They're always stealing them out of the fridge, although my son is teething. So we made the brilliant decision of getting a bottom loading freezer. So like the freezer's on the bottom and it's just this little drawer, and like my son can completely open it now. So he opens it and he steals ice cubes. And also it's a good thing we have no house guests right now, because yeah, he basically just like opens the freezer, and he will just lick all of the ice cubes and put them back. So yeah, that is the joy of living with kids. They just try to make you catch some kind of disease all the time with their germs. But it's okay. All right, so this is a digital that I printed out a little wacky here, so I'm going to use something from it. Maybe this bug here. Yeah, I don't want to ink all the little pieces that I'm putting on here. It would take forever. I feel like in this video of my mask making, I'm going to make one thing because I'm already at like 25 minutes. And I feel like I've been working. I'm working, right? I'm not just gabbing. I don't know how people do things. I never seem to be as efficient as other people, but that's okay. Maybe it's because this is like a bigger kind of project. It's not like a little thing. You can just make a little thing. I'm gonna go around the edges and trim all the like extra hang off that I have after. Where do I want to put this one? Maybe over now on this side, right there. Okay, so what's going to be visible here is this whole flap. So I need to cover this whole flap still. I'm just going to overshoot it a little bit, and I know I will cut this. Actually, I'll cut it off now because it's got some there we go. Also, I've been catching up on YouTube. Actually, last night I just watched a lot of YouTube before bed because I had a couple of hours to do so. And I was watching the Tim Holtz's like update for his new ideology stuff. It looks like a lot of cool stuff will be coming out. I don't buy like a ton of that kind of stuff, but sometimes when I'm in the mood, I do, or when I'm like shopping around, I do pick up a few things from time to time, but looks like a lot of nice stuff though. It's also just fun watching like him do his demos and things. Kind of makes me miss like, or feel like I'm at shows where you see people demoing their products. I always love doing that, like going to people's demos and just kind of cheering them on while they're doing a demo. I used to always demo spinning wheels and spinning art yarns and stuff at shows, and it was always fun because people get really into watching your process. Okay. I still feel like I have a lot to go here. Okay, so that's done. That side I think is good. Now I just got to cover the rest of this piece. I need more scraps, which is not a problem. Let's cut this Martha Stewart Living. Okay. I need a piece up here. I'll do that. Okay. Oops, I thought I snoozed that, but here we go. Now I'll actually snooze it. All right, so that's that flap done. And I will clip it here. Oh, I gotta move it out a little more. There we go. This is usually the kind of thing I would like to sew around. Let's see if that's possible. There we go. Alright. So that's right side up. Now I gotta do this side a little bit here. There you go. And this one little gap there. Let's take a little scrap off of here. There we go. Trim it all down. Now that doesn't want to stay there. Maybe a little thick. Maybe I'll just trim it right off, because also it's blocking my square. And we can't block my square because it's the Tinkerlab thing. Or at least I'm using it as that for today. Okay, so that's better. Let's get a little glue under here. There we go. We still see our hummingbird. Nice fold. Now over here, I need to cover, because this is going to be glued here. So I think I can trim this a little bit there. There we go. That's good. And I'll probably trim a little over here too. Now I'm changing the shape of the envelope a little bit. I'm okay with that. And then this corner needs to get rounded again. And this flap, I could just remove that flap. We don't need it. There we go. So that will glue down to that. And that will be less bulky. Then this side, I need to work on this flap. And oh, I still have a little gap right there too. Okay. There we go. I don't want to block the window though. There we go, and that will cover that up. So that side's done. Now this side. Then I'll use the rest of this little rose piece. Okay. Let's just make sure this is the right side up. It is. Okay, perfect. Okay, need more scraps. Oops. Okay. We're getting there, slowly but surely. I feel like I just want to put something a little nicer and more interesting right over here. Okay, that's that. All right, now I gotta trim the excess off of here. Sorry, a little bit tricky to just get started there. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that's all covered. And I need to trim a little off this side of the envelope again. There we go. Now I just have to do this side. Just gotta finish this side up. Okay, what do I do here? Maybe some nice floral right there. Okay, and I need something I can wrap around the side. I might use some tissue. Some of this patterning tissue could be good. Just because it's kind of like nice and lightweight, but I think it would give a nice smooth seam. I don't want it out this far though. Just little bits here and there. Okay. There we go. Yeah, this is totally way more time consuming than I ever realized it was going to be, I think. I don't want to cover that bug up. I should not have stuck that down. Let's uncover that. There we go. Then what I'm going to do, because I always use bits of book pages because I really love how they look, is I'm just going to stick some book page pieces on here. Just because I think it looks lovely. Over here where we messed up this line a little. There we go. Then maybe a strip down the center of these two windows. And if you had like keyholes or anything like that, you could totally do a lot more with the window theme if you wanted to, and that might be fun. I know what all the noise upstairs is. They're listening to music. That explains it. Things go bananas in this house when I play music. Okay. Getting close here. We're getting closer. There we go. Okay, let's stick that there. No. Oh, my fingers are all gluey. Okay. So now I guess if I wanted to stitch this, I could. I can stitch around the edge, which I think I will do. Maybe I'll just do it on camera so that like you can see what it's going to look like. Let me just get all these scraps out of the way. And for anyone who doesn't want to listen to a sewing machine even for a second, now is your chance to go and do something else, because I'm going to do some stitching here. Yeah, because by stitching it, then I won't even have to glue the envelopes closed. That will make things easier. Okay, here we go around the edges. Now I'll just trim these strings a little bit here. Just make sure everything is adhered. A little bit of extra paper that went over the edge here. Give me 1 minute. Because I don't want to cover any of this acetate window. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so here. So in this window, through the acetate, you can see that there's a hummingbird and a flower, and through this one, there's just some little birds. And then this is the inside. So then you would fold this. Just make sure it folds down well. Probably could use a bone folder. Where is my bone folder? It's back there somewhere. Let me just use my scissors as a bone folder. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it's like a doorway basically. Like it's like you've got your window envelope here and here, and then you open it up and you have a pocket here and here. And that can go right into a signature, or it could be just a piece of ephemera that you tuck into a pocket. You know, you could also add like lace on the side, or yeah, it's just a fun little thing, a little folder kind of thing. I like it. I think it's fun. You could also stitch more on here if you wanted to. Before you glue these down, you could stitch around the edges of these inside flaps. So you could stitch across here. You could fold the flap over like before you stitch it down, and you could stitch in between each of those. That would look pretty cool too. Yeah, so that is, what do we want to call these? We want to call these collage doors. So today is all about collage doors. So thank you so much for joining me. I know this wasn't really quote unquote mass making. I do have more, so I probably will make some more on my own time. And yeah, if I were live streaming and I had all the time in the world, I would mass make these and hang out here with you guys, but I just don't have the time today. So thank you so much for joining me. All of my social media information is down below in the description box. If you make one of these collage doors, let me know. Just pop me a comment and or tag me on Instagram. I'm Studio Lou on Instagram and everywhere else. So thank you and have a great night. I'm gonna go wash all the glue off my fingers.